Hi everybody, Melissa Klein here, and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite pens to work with. I like them because they're cartridges, and that just makes it so much handier. Now, these were originally sold to me as like called the Sailor Brush Pen, and it was always baffling to me because it clearly has a fountain pen tip, but with an extremely bent nib. They have cartridges that are like proprietary, so they have special cartridges, so you can't just use the general, what they call the international fountain pen cartridge. But that said, you can get something called a converter, which means that you can fill it up yourself, and also you can get something, you can refill these things if you want, and they're not that expensive. I think around $10. And the ink goes a long, long way, and so that's a good thing because I do tend to cook through ink pretty well. The other thing I like about this is that I can have two ink cartridges in that pen, so I kind of always have a handy backup one. And then just sort of comparing the nibs a little bit. One is 40 degrees and the other is 55. And my gosh, I hope I fix the focus on this one. Because it's I had to redo this video because of stuff like this. But I'm doing a thing where I go upside down to create the fine lines as well, and I'm using the, thank God, and then I'm doing the flatter part to get like the black parts around that. This is a really nice way to do comics, is to have this sort of silhouette almost type effect going on, where you have a character against a dark background. Now this next one is also by Sailor, and it is a brush pen, and so it's basically has a cartridge like a fountain pen but a brush pen tip, and I promise that I will be fixing the focus in a second here. Wow. I swear when I was working on this, I was checking constantly, but you sure wouldn't know it from looking at this. So there's that. I'm doing actually a rather cool owl. Now this ink cartridge is almost done, so it will. I'm like, please, please, please fix your focus. And so it's sort of running out a little bit of the ink cartridge here, and I need to replace it. Now you'll see when I'm not going to do this on camera because, and I'm just checking, I'm like, is this the same as what I'm using for the other more pen types? And the answer is yes, it is. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of dipping it in water to kind of extend what's in the bristles. Apologize about the focus thing. Now this next one I think is like the best bang for the buck, which is the Pentel brush pen. And it's like all these pen companies are like, oh no, we're not going to do the standard thing, you must come through us for our cartridges. Now I don't particularly like doing lettering with brush pens. I tend to like them more for like large dark areas or bold lines or things like that, rather than, I wish I'd made that into more of a dragon thing. I was noticing it had like a skinny head. I was going for a horse, but I was like, that's too skinny. And now I'm turning it into a seahorse type thing. I'm not terribly in love with what I did there. You can get some nice fine lines, but I find it's not quite as fine as what you can get with one of these calligraphy or fountain pen types. But that said, you can do a lot, and it has a very more like wavy quality to it. Now what I'm doing here is just adding water to show you how, and this is a very kind of surprising experiment. So both the green and the blue Sailor calligraphy pens have, I've been using the same cartridges, or so I thought, and I know it has to be a Sailor cartridge, and yet I noticed on the one, with the cat, that it's much more blue, and the one with the sort of horse on the side, it's not so much. And then I'm also noticing that the brush pen ink that it came with, and that's the first I've replaced it, and I've had it for quite some time. That's just like, it's not really moving, it's much more permanent. So I'm going to be kind of seeing what I can do. The Pentel is really pretty incredible because it doesn't move at all. And that would be great if you want to do watercolors or inks over it. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon on Zoom.